I have a rental that my brother's lived in since 2016 and currently pays $1,200 a month rent. He has 3 children, 18, 24, and 24. The oldest 2 live on their own, and the 18-year-old is a senior in high school. He got married in December and moved his new wife and her 3 kids in. The issue is, my niece does not like or get along with her step-siblings or stepmom. World War III broke out when her stepmom tried to take her room from her. Niece's room is a finished basement with its own living quarters and a separate entrance. Sister-in-law wanted it for her son, who is 22 and still lives at home. My brother had not made a final decision, and I really don't know which way he was leaning. My niece called me in tears and told me her stepmom told her that she would be giving up the basement and to accept it. I called my brother and told him I found it unacceptable that his wife was trying to take his daughter's room away and put her good-for-nothing son in there. He told me to mind my own damn business and hung up on me. I proceeded to email him and tell him that I was considering 2 options. I would raise his rent to $3,000 a month if my niece moved out, and I would mind my own damn business. Option 2, I evict all of them, and niece stays put, and I mind my own damn business. I also told him I did not want his stepson living there at all, period. If he was there 30 days from now, I would start eviction proceedings. This got his attention, and he backed down completely. He was angry with me, his daughter, and angry with his wife, and he told sister-in-law to never mention it again, and told his stepson to find his own place. Problem solved. Told my niece to call me if her stepmom caused her any trouble. My brother has went and told other family members how I interfered, and if I just let him handle it, he would have resolved it himself. He says his marriage is now in the ditch, and no one is talking to each other now. Somehow, that is my fault? Did I involve myself when I shouldn't have? The only place where I think I might be an a-hole is when I told him to kick his stepson out, because this made issues worse for his wife. Not the a-hole. You did the right thing. Far too often, people totally concede to their spouses and hurt their own children out of their own selfish cowardice. I see it all the time. It's even more disgusting when it's to younger kids. If you can't put your kids first, you shouldn't have had them. If you let your spouse put their kids before yours because of anything, you're a coward and in a toxic relationship. I'm so glad you did what you did. It was the right thing. You didn't let your brother's spouse run all over his daughter in favor of her own kid. Not the a-hole at all. Niece has been living there, and to take her own room away from her for an adult is ridiculous. It's not a big deal for a 22-year-old to live at home, but going in and taking a room from someone who's lived there for 6 years is ridiculous. Good for you for standing up for her. Not the a-hole. Your house and all, and your connection is to your brother's kids, not the entirely unrelated kids of his new wife. Sounds like she's been stepmom from hell for your niece, which is both obnoxious and wrong, and your brother should have stopped that before it started, but didn't. Edit. It's been brought up so much. We are on a month-to-month, and my state does not have rent control laws. We've always had a good relationship, so we've never had a lease. I never gave permission either in writing or verbally for him to move in his new family. I never said anything until my niece called me crying. I don't like the stepson because he is an entitled piece of crap who was gunning for the basement because he thought that since he was older, he deserved more privacy. I called him a good-for-nothing because he has some crackpot belief system about working, so he does not even work. I don't know any details of it because I did not care enough to learn about his crackpot philosophy. My brother called me this morning and said that he blamed himself for all of this, and he should have never delayed in telling his wife that her son could not have the basement. He was really busy with work and wanted to have an actual discussion versus just saying no. He did not expect his wife to tell his daughter that it was going to happen. He acknowledged it was a huge red flag, and they will be getting marriage counseling. He said he made it abundantly clear that she was never, his words, approach his daughter about giving up her room, and that no one was allowed in the basement unless they were invited by my niece. He is, as we speak, getting the silent treatment from wifey. He said when I called him he just found out that his older adult kids FaceTimed his wife and really hurled some insults at her. Then they sent him some not-so-nice messages about betrayal and being a henpecked. Then I called and told him off, and he was really upset and felt attacked from all sides. He said he was very disappointed with the threats I made and wanted to set up a time where we could talk more in depth and make some future decisions about the house. I blame the sister-in-law for this whole fiasco. She has been checked, though, and knows better than to try and flex her muscles in my niece's home. That is where we currently stand. My brother might not be as spineless as I thought. I don't know how his marriage can survive. She made enemies with his kids. I, 52, married my wife, 49, when her son was 1 year old. His dad has not been in his life consistently, and we, his mom and I, have paid for his life. We bought him his first car. We paid for his education. We have been there for him. Well, it's our 25th anniversary coming up, and I'm taking my family to Hawaii to renew my vows. I've been saving up for 10 years to do this for my wife. I have a daughter, 28, from a previous marriage. I am paying for her and her boyfriend to come. My wife and I also have a younger daughter, 21. We are paying for her and her boyfriend to join us, as well as my mom and stepdad and my mother-in-law. The problem is my stepson. He is poly. He lives with a woman and 2 other men. I love the kid, and his love life is none of my business, but he wants me to pay for all 4 of them to come. I told him to pick one. I don't care if he brings his girlfriend or a boyfriend, but he only gets 1 extra guest. I said that they were absolutely welcome to join us, and that I would give him the money for the 2 tickets and hotel room, and he could figure out how best to get them all there. He called me a cheap a-hole and said I was excluding him because of how he lives. He is a waiter and doesn't make a lot of money. The other people in his relationship are all lower income as well. I honestly thought I was being fair. Now he is saying that he won't be coming, but he still wants the money I would have spent on 2 tickets and the hotel. I told him no, and now he's not talking to me. My wife has said that I should give him the money, but that isn't what I saved for. Am I being an a-hole? Not the a-hole. You saved up to do something great for your wife. He is trying to take the money but not come and celebrate with you guys. He is the a-hole. Absolutely not the a-hole. The sheer audacity of an adult man making a demand of his stepfather like this. The money is yours to do with as you please. He gets nothing you don't wish to gift. Your offer was fair, and it's his own life choices that led to his broke lifestyle. Unbelievable. Not the a-hole. Giving each child a +1 is more than generous. Your stepson wanting the money you would have spent is ridiculous. Your offer was for family to help you celebrate your vow renewal in front of family. He's chosen not to participate in this. He doesn't get cash as a bonus prize. When my husband, G, 29 male, and I, 31 female, were still dating, my cousin died, and I came into a large inheritance. It was enough to pay off my student loans, get a newer car, invest in some stocks, and I still had some money left. I decided to fulfill my dream of owning acreage for a peaceful getaway from the city. I ended up finding a gorgeous 60-plus acre plot of land for a very reasonable price within 2 hours of where we lived, and best of all, it had a little house on it. We ended up moving in while we were still dating. The house needed a lot of work, so I hired professionals to do most of the remodeling, rewiring the house, replacing the roof, updating the plumbing, etc. And then me and G did the easier tasks, replacing the flooring, painting, replacing broken windows, etc., to save money. I paid for all the materials to remodel the house and never charged him any kind of rent to compensate him for his time, which allowed him to use the extra money to pay off some of his debts and put some money away. It took about a year, but we got it done, and the house is adorable. We've been married for a couple of years, and yesterday he was talking about how he wants to have a storage shed built on the property because I'm pregnant, and the room we used for storage is going to be the nursery. I encouraged him to rent a storage unit instead, but he did not like the idea because in the long run it would be cheaper to invest in a storage shed and just take the money out of our joint account. I then offered to pay for it out of my personal account, which was the leftover inheritance money. We contacted a local professional and started the process of having it built. Then, a few days ago, he asked me why I insisted my money was used to pay for it. I said that it was my house and he should not have to pay out of his pocket to maintain it. He retorted, saying that it was our house. He helped remodel it. He has lived in it for more than 4 years, and we will be raising our child in this house. I reminded him that I bought the house, paid for all the work to be done, and I pay the property taxes. He then got mad and said something like, "So I don't get to have a home that is mine." I thought on what he said for a moment and reminded him that he came into this marriage with a large savings account and told him that it would be enough to pay for a down payment and said he could get a mortgage, rent it out, and let the tenants pay it off so he could have a house if we divorced. This seemed to piss him off more because he went into another room and is still ignoring me. Then I got a call from my father-in-law, and he told me that he spoke with G about the situation and said that I was in the wrong and that all property between a man and wife is shared and dividing things into his and hers is harmful. Then today, I spoke to my brother about it, and he thinks I am putting my assets above my husband. So am I the a-hole? Edit. We both signed a prenup before we got married. Also, he was compensated for his labor and time. The money he has, that I suggested he invest in a house, was saved before our marriage because he lived with me and I paid all the bills. Edit 2. I live in a community property state. If he contributes anything to the property financially, he has a right to it if we divorced, regardless of the prenup. Edit 3. Okay, so I want to thank everyone for their responses. It was very helpful to see so many different viewpoints on my predicament. I had a heart-to-heart with my husband, and we both discussed our feelings on the matter. I reminded him that, unlike me, he grew up in a stable, financially comfortable home, and I explained that my motivations did not come from a lack of love for him, but anxiety from my mother and my financial struggles after my parents divorced. He said that although he knows that it was important to me to legally be the owner of the house, our conversation about the shed left him feeling like he has no control over our family home, and like he is a temporary guest instead of my husband. Ultimately, after talking it out, we agreed that the best course of action is to purchase a second home together with our joint funds and make that our primary residence. My house and land will be used as a weekend getaway instead of our primary residence. While I am a little sad that I will spend less time on my property, I'm very happy that we found a compromise which allows me to protect my assets and gives him more of a feeling of connection and equal ownership to our marital home. You're the a-hole for how you handled it. It's obvious it's your house legally, but you didn't have to make him feel like the place he's living isn't his home too. Moreover, the divorce comment was totally unnecessary and particularly cruel. What was the point of it? To make him feel even worse? It's pretty messed up. Not the a-hole. It was your money and your investment. You've made it clear to him in lots of ways it's your property. He has the opportunity, thanks to your generosity, to build his own portfolio. Or, if he's so comfortable with sharing assets, why don't you buy another property jointly? Hold strong and keep this property separate. Yes, you are married, but if you don't want to share, that's your right. Not the a-hole. This isn't Disney and life is not a fairy tale. Commitment and making the best effort to maintain a long and healthy marriage is all well and good. But like my mom always says, love does not take away intelligence. You're protecting your assets, and it's not like it's out of the blue. The fact that there's a prenup about it shows that it is known that the property would fully be yours, regardless of if you guys are together or not, and he agreed to honor that legal document when he married you. Letting him invest now invalidates that and makes him entitled to half of it in case of a divorce, which is a pretty common thing. Relationships fail sometimes, and that's a fact. My girlfriend and I, we're in our mid-late 20s, have been together for about a year and a half. We met in school through a mutual friend, but are in different programs. She went to an excellent undergrad on a completely full ride, and at graduation paid off her $3,000 of student debt within a year. She grew up poor and had no financial support, worked 3 part-time jobs in college, so that money was for emergency incidentals, like getting a new laptop after her stopped working, and last-minute flights for her family when a relative died. To be clear, part of why I love her so much is her resilience and work ethic. She worked full-time in a well-paying industry for a few years before pursuing her professional degree. Think law, med, MBA, etc. She crushed her applications and ended up with a full tuition scholarship and stipend, but unlike undergrad, it didn't cover cost of living, so she again took out student loans. I love this girl, and I really want to marry her. We've been talking about our post-graduation future since we finish about the same time. She revealed to me that she has a maxed-out credit card of $6,000, and she emptied her whole 401k, about $20,000, to subsidize her living expenses, and will be graduating with about $60,000 in student loans. Basically, she no longer has any assets except the stuff she owns, which isn't luxury but generally nice. When I finish my PhD, I'll have zero debt, since I lived very frugally on my stipends and scholarships. We currently split 50-50 on just about everything we do. She wants us to jointly put all our money towards eliminating her debt ASAP, so we can start saving for a wedding, house, and kids. She's a very independent woman and says she would have asked for a prenup if she wasn't a student on no salary. Here's the issue. I told her I'm proud of her, but I don't think I have anything to do with her financial choices she made before I met her. I've always lived a frugal life, while she spent her expendable income before going back to school going on week-long vacations to the tropics and fancy dinners and buying nice things. She's not the type to go on shopping sprees, but doesn't think twice about going out unexpected, and she isn't reckless. I think she could have saved a lot more and been in less debt given her income. This pissed her off. When we graduate, she will easily be earning a 6-figure income, while I will be living off an adjunct salary or worse to begin with in this economy, unless I get really lucky. I'm happy to contribute to rent or mortgage or anything we do together if I can afford it. But she thinks it's unfair that I'm debt-free and won't help her with hers when she believes she'll be the breadwinner forever. My friends think I'm trying to be a trophy husband and holding her back. Am I the a-hole? Info. I don't think this is really an am I the a-hole question. It's just something you have to decide between you. But how important is a wedding, house, and kids to you? You may have to wait longer for those things if she's paying off the debt herself. She may also resent you for it, rightly or wrongly. No a-holes. Just be sure this is the line you really want to draw. Part of marrying someone is combining your lives, and there's nothing clean about that at all. If you think you can cleanly divide your past lives this way, and everything else will be joyful and harmonious, I suspect you'll be in for quite a surprise down the road. Marriage is 100% compromise for the benefit of both of you, so neither individual gets everything the way they want it. So just be sure you're not making a principled stand for the sake of being principled. Also, check that superiority complex at the chapel door when you get married. Sure, you agree with how you spend money and think she's wrong for spending money the way she does. You're still not better than her. You're just a different person than her. Not the a-hole, because it's your money, and you have the right to do whatever you please with it. However, sticking to this is how you lose that woman. Honestly, if she's going to be making big bucks and wants to pool money, that's good for you. You'll basically be pulling a part of her salary. But besides the financial benefit, you have to see that either she's going to be financially incompatible with you, or you have to change your judgment of her spending and debt. If you're with this woman for life, she won't magically change. This debt will remain, and her feelings of being alone with her financials. Also, you get all of her past when you marry her. People don't like this fact, but it's true. Baggage is emotional, financial, and familial, and you will help her carry all of it, one way or another. Figure out if you want to.